I'm here to tell you that generative AI anxiety is real, and you should not take it lightly. AI rollout, I've seen it spark fears about jobs, role shifts, displacement, new demands, AI bias, mistakes, hallucinations, all of that sort of stuff. And even people who are quiet that may mask fears, rumors, objections, hidden, and so on, that will actually seriously undermine AI adoption and use effectiveness throughout your organization if you don't address it proactively. You want to have open forums from the beginning, assuming and frankly knowing, given the extensive polls that showed how many people are anxious about AI. There was a recent, for example, Pew Research poll showing that in the US, something like 50% of people are anxious, more worried about AI than excited about it, and only something like 10% are more excited about it than worried about it. So there's a pretty good chance that a bunch of your employees are part of the 50% that are more worried about AI than are excited about it, and not too many of your employees are part of the 10% that are more excited about it than are worried about it. That's why you want to assume that people are not talking about their fears and anxieties, and you want to have open forums that are deliberately structured to be psychologically safe, where people can feel free to speak up without feeling like they might be punished or criticized for trying out ideas that are different. So you want to have that psychological safety and that allow people to surface concerns early and build shared understanding. Honest dialogue can turn people who are skeptical into people who are advocates, who can be partners in the change that you want to bring. Trust grows when leaders invite questions and respond openly. Forums can reveal gaps between leadership vision and staff concerns. Remember, employees are going to engage when the tools, AI tools, are framed as support for them, not a threat. And you want to focus on providing support and learning to people to improve adoption speed and local fit. Have a clear purpose and ground rules for your forums to keep discussions productive, and design them for safety, inclusion, and real transparency. Active listening to validate people's emotions and the ideas that they bring to the table. Offer people opportunities for anonymous input, for breakouts where they can discuss issues with colleagues who they don't feel threatened by. Have asynchronous digital spaces where they can share their thoughts as well. Use skilled moderation to balance energy and accuracy, and have discussion of both hopes and worries at the same time to have a balanced dialogue. Share timelines, plans, and support for employees in this AI adoption so that rumors lose power. I'll give you an example of a logistics company I worked with to map fears and address them. We did it through surveys, focus groups, through individual interviews. We had anonymous questions and had a lot of facilitation that emphasized safety and support and concern for employee needs and questions. So we had a pilot team panel that showed how tasks were streamlined and roles were elevated. It's really good to have those pilots and have those power users speak openly at those forums, as well as invite skeptics to speak openly at the forums, which we did. We had clear descriptions of what the role impacts should be and upskilling plans to reduce resistance. We made very clear that nobody will lose their job because of AI. That's not what this was about. That we might not hire as many people as a result, the company might not hire as many people as a result, but nobody would lose their jobs. The focus will be on retraining. That the only danger to people is if they didn't adopt AI effectively, and if they were resistant to it, that might cause them to lose their jobs. But the AI displacement itself wouldn't lose their jobs. And that had a cultural shift, real cultural shift that over 6 months delivered a 15% efficiency lift at the company. So that was great. Remember, trust is what you need to preserve and address anxiety. Trust compounds through ongoing engagement. Treat forums as a cadence, not a one-time event. So do them frequently. Have town halls, small groups, a living AI resource hubs, have participation, tracking. So how are people participating, not individual participants, and make sure that there's that anonymized participation. Quality of questions, myth reduction, have summaries and concrete next action steps that show that you're listening to people as a result of these forums, and have that sustained transparency that will turn the anxiety that some people, of course, feel into real energy for innovation and efficiency. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Wise Decision Maker Show. Please make sure to subscribe wherever you checked out the show and leave a review. It helps other people discover the show and helps us improve the show. And if you have any questions, as always, email me at Gleb, Gleb, @disasteravoidanceexperts.com.